Hello everybody and welcome back to NCAA 2004, and we are back in the Alabama Crimson Tide Dynasty mode, finally kicking off year 13. I think in the off-season video I was calling it the end of year 13, which would make this 14, but no, this is year 13. That was the end of year 12. I got my numbers mixed up, okay? We've been doing this for a long time, okay? I get confused sometimes. It happens. It's going to happen again. I promise you that. But we are heading into this game here going up against the Indiana Hoosiers, who, in this dynasty up to this point, we haven't really focused on the Hoosiers too much because typically in these sims, Indiana doesn't really ever do all that well. But last year, Indiana actually put together kind of a solid season in the Big Ten. They didn't win it, but they just had, a good year. I think finished ranked in the top 20. So, a good season for them. But looking at the roster, unfortunately, it appears that they probably blew their load a little bit too early in that season because we're missing the talent here. The talent is not on the roster that probably existed there last season. There's a lot of freshmen here, a lot of first-year starters. It's not the same Indiana team, unfortunately, but they are still ranked 22, so I put them on the schedule thinking that, maybe we would get a nice little scrappy game out of the Hoosiers. But we will see how competitive it is because we still have problems ourselves that we have to address here. We have a lot of freshmen starting across the roster. We still have a lot of our returning starters on defense and on our offensive line, which is super important. But we also still have the interception problem with Dre Gates that we're going to be monitoring heading in to year 13 because despite the 97 overall, we cannot survive with the quarterback. Throwing 20 interceptions, as we saw last year, was completely catastrophic. As is this run game for Indiana, apparently, as their running back Brandon Watson gets all the way into the end zone on a huge opening run play here. Look at that stiff arm, shoves him to the ground, and then it's just an all-around foot race. And I thought that someone could have maybe taken a good little charge at him. Maybe it was Kevin Wagner, I think, who tried to take a wider berth at him, but did not work. So, and now Dre Gates is flashing a little bit of the legs on a 3rd and 5, and he's going to get a first down. He can run a little bit. We did see that last season. They get 5 rushing touchdowns last year. And so it's definitely a weapon that he possesses, but not like to the Tim Tebow effect, but, still pretty good here. Now we're going to get a nice little run play of our own. Look at that, stiff arm, spin moves. I don't know how that play got for as far as it did, but that's not even our starting running back, guys. It's Marquise Bowen, the backup running back, with a very nice little run play there. But on 2nd and goal here, there's nobody in the backfield this time, but Gates going to run the option play, going to keep it himself here with a juke move, get into the end zone for the first Bama touchdown of the game. And there we see a drive when we come in, starts with a Dre Gates run play, and it's going to end with that as well. And Bowen was on the field again, so Lionel Blackman, haven't seen him at all in this first drive here, but he's still around. He is still on the team. So tied up at 7 apiece here, our defense gives us the ball back, and now we're back around midfield. Now Dre Gates again on the run, breaking off 2 tackles and getting out into open space here along the sideline. He's going to get tackled inside the Indiana 30. Look at this, man, just breaking tackles. If that's what he can do, I think I made a joke in the last season that a position change may be in his future, and I was seriously just joking, but who knows, maybe if he ever makes it to the NFL, tight end might be what he's doing. So on a short yardage play here, Gates is going to throw for it, and this time it's going to be caught by an unlikely hero, Lionel Blackman. Lionel Blackman out there running a route and just catching the football here. I guess Indiana's defense was not expecting the running back to go out for a route here, but just so close. Almost was broken up, so I guess I can't say that Indiana wasn't prepared because they definitely had someone in the area, but still, just narrowly caught and into the end zone. And now things are starting to fall apart for the Hoosiers as Scooter Westbrook, the freshman starter for Indiana, throws an interception to a very, very likely name here, Justin Ulrich, our left outside linebacker, one of the best players on this defense, one of the few 99s that we have sitting around our defense. So we really have to cash in since we have a lot of those guys still hanging around here. If we do not cash in this year, it will be, I don't know when we might be able to cash in again. It'll be a little bit disastrous. So Dre Gates off to a terrible start, as you can see on the screen here. It's been kind of a slow start for him, and he finds one of our new receivers on the roster, Chip Milligan. We have a new 89, but I did plan on retiring that number, so we'll see here. But another run play ends up in a touchdown here as Lewis Sharp, the fullback, gets into the end zone here, replacing J.C. McClintock. So now the lead is a little bit opened up here, but the Hoosiers and Westbrook leading the charge here is finally getting Indiana down the field a little bit here, moving them a little bit with a little bit of ease here as he finds Andrew Jerriman. Good Lord, I can't even read my own handwriting, guys. I can't even read my own handwriting. I have all these names down on the roster, but I can't read them. But either way here, Westbrook is going to find Ryan Meeks and get into the end zone for another touchdown. So Indiana now closing the gap a little bit here. Gates fires one downfield, and yep, there we go. There's the first one. Just put a pin in it. There's the first one. And yeah, look at that just stat line. It's been a very rough start for Dre Gates starting so far in this game here. So Indiana on 3rd and 5, and now Westbrook floats one out here. Along the sideline, it's going to get caught, and now just with a little bit of open space, going to get brought down, but not before picking up a nice little chunk of yardage on the ground, and that was Landon McLevy, the tight end for Indiana, who was able to make that catch. So on a 3rd and 10 now on the Alabama side of the field, the ball is tipped around, nearly intercepted. There was a few different people in the vicinity that could have got their hands on the football, but fortunately, I guess for Indiana, it falls safely to the ground. And there's a lot of opportunities there. So on a 4th and 10, they're going to keep the offense on the field here. And Westbrook finds an open target, but he's going to get brought down well shy of the line to gain. And so Indiana's going to have to head the other way here. They're going to have to give up the ball here and send the defense back on the field. So now still under a minute here in the first half. We still have time to do something with the football if we so choose. And Dre Gates is able to find an open target to at least get a first down here. Just barely, but he does. And so now we're going to call timeout here. 26 seconds, 2nd and 2. Gates back to pass once again. Floats it out, and it is caught along the sideline. This time it's Cliff Herman, the lone returning receiver that we have on the depth chart, the lone good receiver on our depth chart. So 13 seconds, we're still trying to move the football here, and Gates floats one to the end zone, and somehow in a web of players, he makes a tight throw like that, and all the other interceptions, you're thinking, you're looking at all the interceptions, and then you're looking at this play, and you're like, how on earth, dude? How on earth? And that's going to be Lou Newsome's first touchdown as a member of the Crimson Tide. Lou Newsome is one of the new receivers here that we're going with this year. He was here last year, but I don't think he really saw the field much at all, so that's his first touchdown, at least of the season. We can verify, and that's going to give us, again, a 2-possession lead over the Hoosiers heading into the second half. And now Sharp, one of the new faces around here as well, at fullback, gives us a nice pickup here. But on 2nd and 1, going to try and pick up the rest, but Gates wants to throw for it. Floats a deep shot downfield, and yeah, I don't even know. There was like 3 guys out there, none of them I mean, it's ugly, guys. Because on top of that, Dre Gates isn't even having a great game at quarterback. So the saving grace for him last season was he had good games. He just threw a lot of interceptions. But if he's not having good games and he's throwing interceptions, I don't know how long we could realistically go with him as a starter. I mean, it's a tough schedule we have to play, guys. We can't really rely on stuff like that. If anything, I think Indiana's probably in this game because of things like that. So, obviously we're still in pretty good control here. Our offense is still finding ways to move despite the mistakes, but if the mistakes are all on one person, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to address that. So, and now a face mask from John Paul, our strong safety, is going to give Indiana a few more yards and a first down on a play that I think probably would have ended the drive. So on 3rd and 5 now, Westbrook's going to hand this one off once again, and being drugged forward is Watson, the running back. Or Hansen? Is that really what it's supposed to be? It is supposed to be Hansen. See, I told you I can't read my own handwriting. Thank you to NCAA04 for the layup there. But Hansen with a nice first down on the very next play here. Someone's going to get a hand on it. We might get a replay. Yeah, we're going to get a replay and see this again here. Westbrook in a collapsing pocket throws it across the middle, and that ball is going to get tipped and still somehow caught in the end zone. So now Indiana back within just 1 touchdown of the Crimson Tide, but we are moving once again, and Gates floats one, and it's going to be caught for another first down. It's been a rough day for him, but still, he's still hanging on here. And that's going to be Clifford Jones now, our starting at tight end, following the departure of Lenny Horner. So Clifford Jones is our guy, and now it's another new receiver on the depth chart who's making a play here, getting a catch, and that's Evan Jacobs, who's a freshman. So starting as a freshman, he's like receiver 4, but he's still there. And then Gates is going to get into the end zone. He pitches it. I think it's still going to go to him as a rushing touchdown, I think. Lionel Blackman's celebrating with him as if he also scored. I'm not sure. I think he definitely crossed the goal line with the football, but he still pitched it, so I don't. It's weird. But yeah, you see Lionel Blackman was clearly in like a stop running animation completions. So, yeah, I think that one's going to go to Dre Gates. So 35-21 is the score here, and I think Gates has done more with his legs than he has with his arm, and that's not the kind of football that I wish to play here in Tuscaloosa. It's not. And Westbrook is going to make another mistake here with another interception. This time it's going to go to Lamar Price on the other side of Justin Ulrich. So both outside linebackers getting an interception in this game, as Indiana's also been making some mistakes. Gates under some pressure here makes a nice athletic play to find an open target here and avoid the sack and avoid a mistake. So there's a good play. We'll give it to him. We'll certainly give it to him as he finds Chip Milligan for another completion. And now on a 3rd and goal, there's going to be a flag on the play. Hold on. And someone maybe got a little bit too anxious here. We don't see a lot of false starts, but there definitely was one here. So that's going to back us up a little bit and make this 3rd and goal even more difficult to try and get. We're already kind of far back. Now it's going to be like, outside of the 10-yard line. So from about the Indiana 11 or 12, Gates is going to drop back here. Clean pocket, all day to throw. Throws it to the corner of the end zone, and it's in and out of the hands. It looks like Cliff Herman. And he was in double coverage, so you'd expect a more disastrous play as a result. But fortunately, that one just kind of falls. And Cliff Herman says, "Hey, man, that's on me." I don't think it is. It was a bad decision from Dre Gates, but I guess you could have had it. It was in your hands. So bring out the new kicker. That's right, we have a new kicker here. Kendall Owens, our freshman, is going to come out and kick for us after we lost our kicker. So no, Dave Dennis said no more, no more. But he's good. So 38-21 is now the score here, and we are back on offense. Indiana starting to officially run out of gas. Another nice throw here, kind of dotted it in between a few defenders. Just a nice route to be ran. Found a way to be open, surrounded by those defenders, and it is Cliff Herman. So you can expect that from him. So 1st and goal here from about the Indiana 9-yard line. Gates back to pass once again. Floats to the end zone, and that pass is going to be completed for a touchdown. And now our offense really kind of starting to click a little bit. It feels like we can do kind of what we want to. Better late than never, I guess, as Indiana's defense has put up quite the fight. And that's going to be the freshman's first touchdown. Look there, Evan Jacobs getting a touchdown in this game. Good on you, big fella. Good on you. So we're going to finish this game off here 45-21. Indiana really did just run out of gas, man. This game was 20-21 at some point recently. You know what I mean? That wasn't back early in the second quarter. No, Indiana was still hanging somewhat in the second half. And, just ran out of gas. Just did not have anything left in the tank to continue to match up against this Crimson Tide team. So we're going to hang on to win our first game of the season, which is a ranked game. So we just continue to play these ranked games. And we're going to look over the stat sheet here. Again, you can see that completion attempts and touchdowns. Dre Gates ended up, having a Dre Gates type game, but that's not good. It's still below 50% completion percentage, which I really don't like. This game in general, from a sim perspective, loves to give every quarterback like a 51% completion percentage, which is pretty on par, I think, with where Dre Gates is, but I would just like it to be up there. When you have the abundance of good quarterbacks like we do, you should not settle for that type of mediocrity. You really just shouldn't, despite the overalls. You got to throw those out the window, man. You got to throw them out the window. So at 15 for 31 with 191 yards and 2 interceptions is not going to cut it, even with 3 touchdowns. It's just not. That's the type of stuff that's going to make a competitive game like this. That probably shouldn't have been competitive. I don't think Indiana had the horses to really go a full 60 minutes with this team, and they didn't. They still fell off, but giving up 21 points is still just not something, giving them the opportunities to score 21 points is just not something that we should be allowing. So Justin Ulrich with a hell of a game, man. Give a big shout out to Justin Ulrich. Great game. Also, Herman Sapp was kind of everywhere, too, on the defensive line. So we have a good defensive line and just a good defense in general. Most of our returning starters are from there. So, and now heading back to the Hub World, and South Carolina is upset in the very first week of the season as UCF, out of the MAC, believe it or not, UCF upset South Carolina in Columbia. South Carolina's going to take an L early to start the season. And then in the following week here, Virginia Tech ends up winning in this match against USC on the road. A huge fourth quarter gives Virginia Tech the win against USC and saves their season here at ranked number 5. So with that, we're going to head into our next game against the Oklahoma Sooners. So this is a big kind of a throwback game here. This is the first ever game in the series was against a number 1 Oklahoma. Now they're 14th and we're 2. So can we beat Oklahoma again here and keep our season alive? Come back and see.